just leave that in?
Yeah, that was good.
Hello and welcome to episode 58 of the Date Night Thrice podcast. This is going to be a podcast where three friends are going to do a top three countdown of their free, most memorable, notable, favorite things of the month. It's going to be great. I'm Ben.
I'm M.
With M.
God.
Oh, God.
Well,
Screwed that up.
starting over.
Gang, I'm Ben.
I'm M.
Well, where are we at in the podcast?
Right. Obviously, that must be Ken.
How does this work? Yeah, somebody walk me through it again.
Yeah.
The energy level is palpable. You could feel it. You could slice. It's June.
It's very
I thought
high
you said
compared to
something else,
usual.
but-
It's June. Well, here's the thing. Winter was weird. It was like weird, and then it extended, and
I think it was
spring
like
was
a
miserable.
Good 30 years.
And guys, now it's summer. Summer is coming, and I can just, I instead of being like, dang, we got to put in the work, we got to record the podcast. I was like, I cannot wait to hang out with you guys tonight. There's just something about the energy levels. Ken was playing the NBA theme song.
Yeah.
That's true.
I'm this energetic because I hurt my ankle and I haven't been able to do anything.
Lame.
Yeah, super
what a loser,
lame.
right?
Well, I don't know. It's swollen. It hurts. Wakes me up at night. It's terrible.
Story of my life.
Oh, dang. I don't know.
Sorry.
Has any of you guys been doing anything fun, interesting, exciting? What's been going on?
No.
Come on.
Ken, I saw that you have like a mini putt thing at your house.
Oh, that came like 1 hour ago.
Is that
Got delivered an hour ago.
this is hot news that's coming
Okay.
in.
I love the golf updates.
Yeah, is this like you need to practice? You got to do better? What's going on?
I'm really good in my mid game, which is after you drive, right? You send it down the fairway, a cool 600 yards.
Right.
That's not accurate at all. Mid is where you've got to use your irons or like what's called a hybrid or sometimes a wood.
I like how you're
And then
like one-handing it.
You gotta
Swing it,
Putt.
and then you like
Right. He's out there just.
whipping the ball.
right. But my problem I can't drive to save my life, and I never will. But my problem on putting is I hammer it too hard, right? Too much raw power.
Right.
I often use the flag called the pin as the backboard, and my group gives me a good ribbon because it's not a backboard, right? If you hit the pin too hard, it's just going to bounce off.
Right. You're always like, no, keep it in. Keep.
Good putting means you come right up on the hole and you fall in. So I just got that thing.
Right.
Did not need it at all. Could have used a nickel on the ground, right?
Yeah.
Hit towards the nickel. But
It always reminds me of like when Superman hugs somebody or shakes their hand. How does he know that he's not doing it too hard? If
Right.
that is 0.01% of his strength, you're a little bit like that. You're just too.
I couldn't think of a better example. Thank you.
Great analogy
Yes,
there.
that's exactly right. Strength of Superman. How does Superman putt?
Yeah.
How does Superman putt? Yeah.
Well, he practices
know.
at home with a little mini
Right.
putt. but-
Right.
You can only get so when your range is this.
Right.
How do you have accuracy?
Right. You want me at 1 when baseline is like 1,000.
Right.
Right.
These guys, yeah, they're at 1 out of 10, but they're asking you 1 out of 100, 1 out of 1,000.
Like it doesn't measure. The tool doesn't pick that up.
Exactly. Yeah,
Anyway,
I get it.
I'm the tool.
I get it.
So I got this green thing, and the weirdest thing is that the pets immediately came down and laid on it. The cat and the dog laid on like a 6-foot.
They were like,
piece of,
great, grass is in here.
fake, really
Finally.
cheap fake grass. And then, yeah, anyway, that's all. Nothing crazy out here. Although it's, speaking of golf, got to play tomorrow. Here's my golf swing.
Oh, baby.
And we have record low quality air quality. Record low air quality. It is visibly just gray outside.
From the fires?
From the Canadian
Still?
fires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So we'll see if I come back with, I don't know what you get
Asthma.
A wheeze.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just come back
the
Get a
wheezy.
wheeze.
Whooping cough.
Get the whoop. I before I saw in the news that there was fires, I went outside. This is like a
It was like a week ago.
and I was like, why is it
Really?
so hazy outside? Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, it's like cleared up for us now here, but last week it was like super
No
hazy.
way.
Yeah.
I didn't know Michigan got it. Okay.
Before it was like in New York or anything, right? So I was like, what is going on? Like it's like hazy everywhere.
Yeah. And it's a
fires.
weird haze because it's not like dew, especially in Midland.
yeah.
It gets a lot of that morning fog where it's
Yeah.
considerably cooler. You can feel the moisture in the air. It's kind of refreshing in a certain way. This is like the opposite. The air is like hotter, but drier and denser somehow.
Yeah.
It's cool. Very cool.
Fun to be alive.
Speaking of hotter and denser, but not drier, I did a half marathon last weekend? Weekend before?
Yeah, I don't know.
Whenever it was. It was recently.
I think it was last weekend.
And I did the same one last year. And the goal last year was to see if I could do it. I hadn't done one in a while. I was getting back in running shape. Whatever. I set a time. And I impressed myself with myself. The goal this year was to beat that time. It was also to beat my best time ever. And I absolutely have the fitness for it. I had trained. I was ready to go. I was good to go. I was running, I think in May, I was running like 35, what the hell? 40-mile weeks. Why is your camera,
On top of my monitor?
but why is it moving towards you? Or are you moving? Why is your camera moving? What's going on?
Because I was standing.
Oh,
Now I'm sitting.
You're at your standing desk.
Oh, I was like,
Guys,
but
hold on,
how?
Continue.
I can't.
This is like a great act you could do.
Right. This is funny. Anyway, I absolutely had the fitness. It was a little bit warmer, which is bad for me. Heat is my number one enemy. And of course, I had a plan. I had done the tests. I knew how fast to run. I had said, I'm going to run this pace. I'm going to go out at 7 on the watch, 7:40, 7:42-ish.
Holy cow.
And stick with that the whole time.
And you just threw that out the window.
I threw that out the window. I ran 7:30, sub 7:30 for the first like 8 miles. And
Oh my gosh.
And I had done all the tests to know that I can't do that. And I couldn't do that. And it was hot and humid. And I definitely couldn't do that. And so the rest of that race, miles 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13, were just the worst feeling in the world.
Cannot imagine.
I completely blew up. It was an absolute explosion. So last year I ran a 140. I was shooting for a 138. This year I ran a 142. And you look at the times and you can see how I just gave up 30 seconds every. It just, it's not like I gave up a lot of positions. It's not like there's a ton of people that run these races or whatever, but I just was so. I did.
You knew better.
You do this every time.
Yeah.
I know.
Every time.
I bet you, because like I probably sacrificed a minute and a half of pace on the last mile because I was so miserable. If I had just stopped for 30 seconds,
right,
and just calmed down, let my heart rate drop, take a drink of water, that would have saved me probably 2 minutes overall.
Yeah, but could you have I don't think I could start again after that.
That's the problem.
I would have been like, we're done.
I bet you say that, but like in a race.
Yeah, with people passing you, right?
Yeah.
If somebody, if you're ready to give up, and I mean, more than half those people would say, pick it up. Are you okay?
Yeah.
You need water. That's,
Yeah.
most people in those races are really good, but
the only positive. Go ahead.
How do we fix your pace setting? What do we got to do?
I think the answer is to just get fast enough that I could have held that pace. No, the right thing would have been to follow the plan. Would have been to follow the plan, because that's what I did last year. Last year's plan was to run 750, 755-ish for the first half, because there's a 2-lap course, and then go the second half as fast as I want, as fast as I'm comfortable.
Makes sense.
And if I would have just done that this time,
golden.
yeah, exactly. It was just stupid, because I came around for the second lap and I was like hurting already, and I was like, ah, shoot, darn it.
Yeah, but you got in 11th place overall.
Yeah, I know,
good.
but last year my average heart rate was 155. This year's average heart rate was 169.
Oh my God,
Wow.
That's a huge
That's
difference.
so embarrassing.
Yeah.
So it just, like, I certainly put the effort in.
No doubt about that. Yeah.
I just did poor. That's the thing. It was not from lack of fitness. It was or effort. It was just a lack of sticking to the plan.
Yeah.
That's just makes me feel dumb. It makes me feel just like a waste. Like I could have done better.
Well, but that lack of, I don't want to call it lack of discipline, lack of, when you don't do what
Follow
you
through.
know you should do, that's the human condition. Let's get real deep, right? Like everybody does that all the time.
I know. I just kept going, what if I could just hang on to this?
No,
Like,
you
what
do
if
this-
I could?
You've done this in every race for the
I
last
was
10
able
years.
to put one hand on the sun,
What if I just?
two, and then I'll eat it. Yeah.
So yeah, the only
But you did it.
nice thing was, because I essentially blew up with 5 miles to go, I ran 5 slow miles, and
would
so by
die.
the end of the race, I was totally fine. Normally I run these kind of things, and I'm totally dead the whole rest of the day. But because I ran the whole second half of that race, so I won't say so slow for me. I was pretty well recovered
rubbing in our
pretty quickly
faces.
afterwards.
geez.
So, well, try again next time.
I tried to run a half mile at that pace. And before I put my shoes on, I stopped and said, this is silly. So,
Yeah, that sounds about right.
you're doing okay.
Well, nice. Nice.
New M.
I heard
What
not
was your
much
time?
kids.
On the,
I stayed home and slept, so the
fair
time was
enough,
pretty
yeah.
good.
One of you won. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Right. Though the D&D crew was there at the finish line cheering me on, and they actually were with 1 mile to go. They were there, and if I had been like on the hunt for somebody or pushing
Right.
it,
If you
that would have been the best
managed
thing ever.
correctly and been cooking,
Yeah, and then there
Could've
they
done a
were, but
6:30
instead
and
they
just-
saw a absolutely defeated, crushed person, and then they were like,
God.
yeah, we came down here, and I was just like,
You just said fuck
Go
you.
home.
oh no.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I
That's
think you're
funny.
way too hard on yourself, but
think
I like
you're not
being that
hard
way,
on
though.
Yourself enough. Yeah. Hard on yourself. Not hard
Right.
enough on yourself.
It's got to be harder.
Yeah.
well, I don't know. The kids have been out of school, so it's just been me getting snacks all day for everyone. You
Yep.
know, breaking up
Yep.
fights, being like, stop coming in my room for 100
This is-
times. So
The most insane thing you've fought about in your entire life. You're arguing over
yeah,
who gets to vacuum the kitchen.
Fists are flying.
Can we not? Yeah.
it's So it's just been a lot of that. So not much going on. But this weekend, I couldn't think of what day it was. We are headed to Lake Michigan to a cabin. So I'm excited for that at least. It's like- I like the elevator, like. But yeah, so we will
What you
have.
doing on Lake Michigan?
So we have a cabin with Ben's family, so we'll be there for a week,
Ooh,
which will be
awesome.
really nice. And it's right on
Awesome.
Lake Michigan, so I'm excited for that.
Nice.
So yeah.
We'll have to report back. We're gonna bring some games, make everybody play games. I can't wait. It's gonna
Force
be
everyone.
awesome.
We do need a cabin game list. 2023 cabin game list.
Right.
Right?
I think it's
Yeah.
gonna be fun. So what should we bring? I don't know. We'll see. What do you want to play, Em? What game?
Well, there's
do
a
you wanna
difference
play?
between what you want to play and what you know other people will play.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know people will play The Crew. So we're definitely bringing The Crew.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I don't know if I want to do So Clover.
Uh-huh.
Because that's a good group game. I don't know if we want to do Chronicles of Crime, but that's also a good group one
Easy one. Yeah.
to bring.
If it was up to you, like everyone
Yeah.
else is going to have fun, what do you want to play?
And you only get one.
You're on vacation. What's it
Let's
going to
pump
be?
it up.
I haven't
You
even
only
thought
get
about
one.
that.
There's not enough space in the van.
Oh, shit. I don't even know. I'd probably still bring something kind of simple. I'd be like Wingspan, like something simple that like I don't have to do a big teach.
I can see
know?
the Wingspan chicken
I know, the-
right here behind me.
I probably wouldn't go crazy because it's also, though the other day I saw Ticket to Ride in the other room. It's such a simple game, but I was like, we haven't played that in a while.
I
and
love
I was
Ticket
kind
to
of like,
Ride.
I love
Classic.
Ticket to Ride. It's still just a fun
Classic.
one.
We'll have
so
to bring
that's
it.
a good one
We
too.
should bring it.
Yeah.
Excellent choices. Well, there's no because of our vacation, there's no session 0 this month. So if any listeners out there are wondering where our RPG podcast is, I'm sorry. But we'll be back. We'll be back next month. Don't worry about it. I'm sure I'll have plenty to talk about. It's all I think about, all I do, all I work on, and all I read.
Well, that actually goes with our first question of
Oh
the
my
podcast.
goodness.
So we're going to go right into that. So this question is from Nova_plays_. And it's, what does Ben enjoy more? Video games, board games, or RPGs?
Oh my
Ooh, that's a
gosh.
good question. It's not video games.
It ebbs and flows, though. We had
That's
a question like this a few episodes back, maybe like 10, 15, 20 episodes back, and I was forced to answer this question. But would I pick board games or video games? And I picked video games at that time.
Did you?
And I did. Maybe we were playing Elden Ring, something like that.
Sure.
They're
You were
true.
hot on it. Yeah. Yep.
The drug.
and then like I've gone to places since then where I'm like, maybe that was the wrong answer. I think about that. I said it on the podcast. I think about it all the time.
I don't even remember that. And you're
Oh,
like up at
I
night.
remember.
You're like pacing in the kitchen.
I don't. Do you guys want to try to answer this? I need to think about it for a second because I don't know.
I think you like RPGs. I think like if I was like, I'll play, you would do that more than board games.
Yeah, but not
I think
by
it's
much.
just
Not
having
by
the
much.
right people. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
RPG probably
But-
just edges out board games for you, Ben. I would say long
Because
term.
it's like because you
lifetime.
get to, like add to it. You get to make it your own.
Well, and you get to play it and you get to DM it too, right? So there's
Yeah.
there are two very different aspects to it that you can pick up.
Well, and I think one of the things I have found about running an RPG and now multiple RPGs is I find it to be very rewarding in multiple ways. Running the session and providing entertainment for your friends.
Oh yeah.
There's no better feeling than that. If you put together something and then people enjoy it, like that's so cool. I've never been a person who like needs to make a world and then put people in it. Like I'm not going to go build my world and everybody go play it. But what I like to do is look at other stuff, other published content, whether it's all kinds of books that I have over here, read all kinds of stuff and adventures, and then piece it all together and I think this will work and this, and then build this fight like this and have this happen like this. And then to see people go through it and then be like, man, I'm having a good time. Well, like I do find that incredibly rewarding. For our game, Ken, I was like, it's short game sessions and they're kind of spread apart. So I was like, but to prep for like this last one we were going to have, I finally sat down and I was like, I need to figure out all this stuff. And I wrote down like, here's the factions, here's the missions, here's what the missions are going to do, and here's everything that's happening. And to sit down and read that and then like think about that world and build it and build the city and who's going to do what and who's going to interact in which way, what are the scenes going to be like. I was like, this place is cool now to me. Right.
Yeah.
And I like that work, but I don't necessarily know that just because that's my number one right now, that would, if I had to just
Yeah.
Someone
live in
said you
one.
can only pick one. Like the other
It might be,
things.
see, now it might be board games,
non-existent.
right? Yeah.
I think overall you probably do board games.
Yeah.
Just because there's variety and like you get to play new board games.
You've talked me out of my own answer. It's board games. Yeah, it's not.
Is it? But I love video games so much.
Yeah. I mean, it's not saying you don't like the other ones. It's just
Yeah. It could be a very tight race.
I guess it's
You just only get one.
Yeah, I feel like you guys are definitely in a camp. Emily, you only play board games and some video games.
like yeah, what? I just
what's your
don't like
choice?
RPGs. If I had to pick one, I mean, I do really enjoy video games. I think I would have more selection with board games overall. I like more board
interesting.
games than more video games.
I do think. Yeah.
So I think I'd pick that.
more
But
board
they're
games
like
are
neck and neck.
better. Also, there's a lot
Yeah.
of bad video games. I'm sure there's bad
That's
board
true.
Yeah.
games, but there's a lot of bad video games. Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I definitely find that there's like a wider
Variety.
variety
I don't know. That's what
like
you're-
of video games where some are really great and some are really like I'm not in the mood for that right now.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what I mean.
But
I
a
feel
board
like
game is a board game is a board game.
yeah.
Well, there's more complex and less complex.
Sure.
But
I
they're
think
all
you have more choices with board games. Like
Yeah,
I could name like 20 board games I like. If someone said video games, I'd probably name like 5 or 10 that I like really enjoy. You know,
Okay.
so I just
Yeah.
think
Yeah,
I would have
that's-
more choices with that.
That's fair.
This would be I don't know. What's your thing, Ken?
It's got to be video games.
Yeah.
I'm loving the RPG right now, like you are, Ben. But it's historically it's video games. Yeah, for
You
sure.
know, like that's like the thing about a video game is I can just sit down and have fun.
It's definitely easy.
And while I'm finding RPGs to be a blast,
Boy, that's effort,
it's like
especially
it's like
for you.
Yeah.
it's so much. Well, and you can the thing I said about it in the beginning. I said it seems like when I first started running a game, it seems like you could put as much effort into it as you want. Now that I've been doing it for 8 months, you absolutely can. There is no limit to the amount of work you can pour into it.
It's true.
Like
And
any
does
good
it-
hobby, right? It's
Right.
a fountain of effort.
You know, it's just, and so that's the thing. I'm always get obsessed with something. I'm obsessed with RPGs right now,
That's
but
true.
that just doesn't
That's your
necessarily
jam.
mean that's
That is your thing.
my thing.
Your thing is obsession.
That's my thing. My thing is being obsessed. That
Yes.
is my thing is not
Yeah, it
RPGs,
is.
video games, or board games.
That
My
is
thing is
very
being
true.
obsessed.
That's true. Yep.
Yeah, that is very true.
But not
I do have
necessarily
another
in an
question.
unhealthy way. Sorry, let's move on. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like you're like, I love cocaine right now. Like you're
No,
it's at
but
least
that is
good
my thing.
hobbies.
My thing is being obsessed.
Loving the drugs. The next one is from Red and Sexy Double
Yeah, cool.
007.
Double D.
No,
Okay.
I was
69.
gonna say like double
Red
O,
and
but
sexy
then
double D 007.
big dick Ren Sexy.
Whoa. All right.
Things got. What is the game you thought your partner would like the most, but they did not? I feel
Whoa.
like Ben, you could say a gazillion because I feel like there's lots I'm like, no.
Well, stick
like,
to
right
one,
away.
right? Find a.
If I had to pick one for you, Ben, not that you hate it, but I'm surprised that you don't like exits that much because you like unlocks and all the other mystery games.
Mm-hmm.
But then if I have an exit, you're like, and so I'm just kind of surprised by that.
Yeah, I don't like exits that much. You're right.
You know what? An exit for me is like a D-list movie for me. I love sometimes
guilty-
how
yeah.
dumb they are.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is so
I get
fucking
that.
stupid. And so I almost enjoy it when the puzzle's so crazy that you're like, well, of course I didn't keep the receipt. Why would I have to look at the flipping numbers on the receipt? Like, it's so insane that sometimes
Yeah.
I enjoy that.
Yeah.
I
That's a great analogy. Yeah.
I would like that unlocks are constrained to the card system.
Yeah.
And I feel like then they have to be more clever within the constraints. And I have a lot of fun knowing that I can figure this out because the boundaries of the puzzle have been set. Where in an exit, there are no boundaries to the puzzle.
Exit. Check
other
your
than
front pocket.
the physical components of literally the box
Open the glove
and
box of
everything
your
inside.
car.
I mean, there's not to spoil stuff, but there's stuff in exits where you have to use the box cover. There's stuff in exits where you have to use the insert. There's stuff in
so
exits where
dumb.
you have to use the UPC code.
Right. But as much as I hate it at the time, later I love being like, well, of course we
it's got
did.
that.
Like,
It's got that B movie thing. Like, why
Yes.
would you do that? What? Like
but then the
is
next
that-
thing is like, didn't you just see that little number? And you're like, what? The next one's so obvious. But then,
Yeah.
I think for me, it's the stuff that what was the question I was most surprised or most disappointed?
Game, you thought your partner would like, but they didn't.
There was definitely times that I was super excited about a game and wanted to show it to you, and then finding out that it was not your jam. Like Brass Birmingham was that way. Now, it makes sense later to be like, of course you wouldn't like that. But I played that game for the first time, and I was like, I think that's #1 game on Board Game Geek right now.
Masterpiece.
I was like, this game is amazing. Like, I have to show this to
discussion.
Emily. Like, I went out and bought it, and I was like, you need to play this. And then she was like, no, this is terrible.
I just remember doing the, which I know I've said this, the like when you fall asleep in class and your head jerks up because I fell asleep during and I went, oh, and that's when I was like, we need to stop.
I think that's probably one that I was like, oh, you got to see this. And then another one was, there's two more. I have two more. Another one was Clinic, which is a game that I feel like you just had a bad first play.
Yeah.
I think you had a bad first play, but I think you would like that game. I still think you would like that game because the way the game works, the theme, everything about it, I feel like is.
The theme is a hospital.
Yeah,
Why
isn't
would I
that
like
cool?
that? No.
It's kind of cool.
All right, and the other one is we played like 19 games of Terra Mystica, a game I love, Terra Mystica. So I went out and got the sequel to Terra Mystica, the space one. I can't remember what it's called. And it went over
That's it.
it went over the edge of like Terra Mystica was that sweet spot of like it all makes sense.
Yeah,
and then
it was like a little too much where I was like, why the fuck are we playing this? I was
the
like,
space
so
one just like
annoyed.
pushed it just a little. But I've had so many of that. Like I thought you would like Core Worlds, right? Deck builders are super fun.
I don't even know what that game
I went out and
is.
got Core Worlds, and you were like, "There's too much text on the cards." And I will admit there is too much text on the cards, but that's still a pretty cool game.
I don't remember that game in any way. If so, I right now would bet money that you made that name up. Like,
that sounds
Core
fake.
Worlds?
Now, we bought that with a gift card that your old boss Adam sent us. Now
Adam sent us a gift. Where have I been?
this was a long time ago.
Welcome back.
Clearly.
You've been in the hospital for
and
the
Megan,
past 4.5 years.
Yeah,
This
apparently.
podcast is actually your coma, sort
Oh
of
my god.
now,
bringing you back.
you and Megan aren't necessarily playing board games all the time, but do you have a similar experience? Whether it's a movie, it's a game, it's a
video
experience,
game.
it's a where you're like, I want to show this to Megan. I think she's going to enjoy it, and then she was like, nah, man.
I don't have a specific example. I generally don't suggest movies because we have vastly different preferences to where it would just be like where you're sitting next to someone like waiting for them to like the movie as much as you. Right?
You're like, did you see that part?
Where Hugo Weaving broke his toe in that scene, or whoever at Aragorn. And video games are sort of the same because she gets dizzy with a lot of 3D stuff, which
Yeah.
turns out she's played more like 80s and 90s video games than I have. So she's always recommending, let's play
on
this.
side scrollers.
Yeah, let's play this shitty Mario game that is impossible to beat. And anyway,
Those are the best.
Streets of Rage.
that's a great
That's a
game.
good one.
She liked that a lot. Board games. I know there's one in there, but I can't say I'm surprised she didn't like it.
Yeah.
I think I have a decent understanding of like what she would, or more importantly, what she would not like. That's my approach to gifts and all these sorts of things. Well, here's what I know she won't like. So anything above that line is okay. I'm thinking of, what's the robot one? Inhuman Conditions.
Oh man.
Now, I didn't pitch that game to her, and having played it now, I wouldn't. But she hated that game, and I adore that game. I think that's the perfect game. I love that.
Right.
That's the closest I can come.
Let's pretend.
that
Let's
makes
just
sense.
stare each other down. It's like role playing on crack, right? You're
It
just
is.
like attacking each
but
other.
you're also
sometimes.
like, it's like a role playing if someone's like you two up on stage and you're like,
yes,
fuck.
it's very like high school theater. Like, oh, I'm just gonna pee my pants.
Right.
Yeah,
it's almost
right.
like whose line is it
Yes.
anyway? Right.
Right.
Like,
so I get being like, nope. Like if someone was like,
Right.
you're up, and you're like, I'm not up.
I'm not up actually.
I'm actually not.
Nope.
I'll pass. Goodbye.
Man, what a weird little game. Let's
That
bring
is a
that to
very
the
weird
cabin.
game.
I think
I'm
I
gonna
love
force people to play
improv.
that.
Your
She hates
family
improv.
would hate that game, Ben.
Yep.
Really?
I'm gonna make my brother
Your
play
family
it.
hated.
So would Megan's. Yeah. They would not be okay with
Like, can you guys just like right? Some people just don't want to pretend.
I don't
just
understand
pretend to
why
be
you
somebody
can't
else.
pretend to be a robot.
Right.
now.
No, pretend that you are a robot pretending
Yeah,
to be
but
a human. Can you
being
do
a
that,
human-
What's
please?
so hard?
And
But
your
then
job
also,
is that you're
it's a
the
job and
dean
stuff.
of a clown university.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I
you're
don't
a
understand
character
what the
on top
issue
of a
is.
character.
Like,
Just figure it out.
You are a human, or no, you are a robot
Yeah. You.
pretending to be a human whose
Pretending to
profession
be- yeah.
is yeah, just pretend that. Like,
College
what is the
dean.
problem?
You definitely have to have a few drinks if you're going to do that one. Well, that kind of leads into the next segment, which is the date night douche.
Oh no, I don't have
man.
date night douche music.
Just douchey
Da, 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 da,
music.
da.
It's
Let's
the
try
NBA
this.
song.
Da-da-da-da.
Ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. Boom, boom. Ladies and gentlemen, is it coming?
This isn't very douchey
This is
music.
No, this
douchey
is no
music?
good.
No.
Can we get like a look at this photograph
something-
or something?
Oh, God. That would be
This is getting worse.
No, that's not
I'm
it.
so sorry. I'm not going to do this live
any
on the
other
show.
choices?
I want you to continue.
want you to continue.
Yeah, I'm okay with this. We'll find
Wait,
it.
Here, this is the douche music.
Wait.
no. This is douchey.
The date night douche.
That's gonna be the date night douche.
Okay, yeah, we'll work. Okay, we'll go with it.
All right, what's pissing you off? What? Could you please explain to us what the date night douche is?
Have you
This
ever
is your
been driving
chance.
behind somebody and they step on their brakes?
Yeah.
They didn't use their blinker.
Man, that is the worst, actually. The date night douche is you can complain about whatever the fuck you want to complain about.
Oh,
Now
nice.
is the chance. So you can say whatever. And if you don't have anything, that's fine too. But I'm going to start.
Okay.
My first thing is when you're in some sort of group and they're like, let's go around and say a fun fact about yourself.
Stop,
Fuck you.
Stop
Fuck
now. I
you.
don't even want to talk about this scenario.
It's the worst. So I hate that.
I was in a situation like that in a restaurant. I think it was a coffee shop.
Nope.
There's a big group of coworkers.
God damn it,
got
no.
around to some guy from another country, and he was talking about how he loves CrossFit and started doing burpees in the middle
Wait,
of the
he
coffee
started to do burpees?
Yeah, he did a couple of burpees and said how he
No.
loves CrossFit. And I
Did
was like,
you
I
just
like
walk
CrossFit
out?
too, but like,
I'm not gonna do that.
I'm not doing burpees in the coffee shop.
I hate that. I don't care what the situation
Well,
is.
and if you've
I
ever-
don't,
if
I
you've-
don't want to be. I just hate it.
If you ever have like, well, not ever, but sometimes when you have conversations with people in it's their second English is their second language, you end up having to the conversation you have is like kind of childlike because they're just not
Yeah.
a master of the language. So he's talking a bit like a kid, and then he's doing
And these-
burpees.
Oh God.
And I was like, this is hilarious.
Hey, watch this. Dad.
Oh,
Dad.
God. Oh,
what
I
I can
hate
do.
that. I
Check
hate it.
this out.
Oh, my gosh. Do you guys have anything? I have two more if you don't have anything.
I'm gonna get on
Whoa.
Ken for canceling at the
Thankfully-
last minute on D&D.
Yeah.
Where
that
did
was-
you go?
Well, hey, that was not totally my fault. Hold
It
on.
wasn't totally your fault. I'm getting on everybody for this. I prepped all day for that. But that wasn't
Picking a
wasted prep because it's ready for next time. Don't you
Yeah.
worry.
At
I'm
least
just
you
We
can
gotta
teasing.
use
figure out
it.
when to play. Yeah.
I'm teasing you a little bit. Well, it'll be the normal schedule. 2 Sundays after that one. So
like
not
how
this week,
you're-
but the next week.
Did you guys ever have to do Zumba in school?
No,
Remember how you do this?
we didn't have to do
They
Zumba
would,
in school.
when like they're bored for gym, they'd be like, head to the gym, and they'd put on a video, and you just had to do this like in the gym
Oh,
for
that
like an
makes
hour.
sense.
You know, and they're
you
like,
just had a
follow
lazy.
this.
You had a lazy gym teacher. It sounds
Yeah.
like.
I think that was at South St. Paul. I don't know.
All we
I
ever played
switched
was
schools too
prison
much.
ball.
But where you had to get in the hoop to get everyone out of prison.
Well, it was like kickball.
Ours was a
No,
little
wait,
bit
no.
different.
Prison ball was like dodgeball, I think.
Ours was like if you threw it to the people in prison, they caught the ball, they could get out. Or if you made the basketball hoop,
Yeah, then
That's-
everybody
that
got
sounds
out.
familiar.
everybody got
Yeah.
out. But if you
Yeah.
got hit by a ball, you're in prison on the other team side.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. That sounds
Right?
about right.
I like how they're like prison ball. Like that's
I don't know.
That's
Incar-
cool.
here's some
Incarceration.
yarn balls throwing
Yeah.
at each other.
Oh, come on. Let's have some fun.
Oh wait, Ben, do you have anything else though? Anything else? Anything else?
I didn't think that far ahead. I just wanted to tease
You don't
Ken.
hate life on a daily basis and just
No. I like everything. I like everybody.
wow. Ken, you got anything?
I don't for once. Usually
Oh my
I've got
gosh.
something
Oh
under
my
the
gosh.
surface. I know. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well,
Oh, here.
I hate,
let me
yeah.
give you. Here, I got one. All right.
Okay.
This is. No, I can't. I'll get fired. Go ahead.
Ah, darn. Okay. I hate when things
You'll get
in
fired.
packages are stuck together. And so what I mean by that's a Ben phrase, is
What?
what I mean by that. You
Stuck
say
to-
that all
oh.
the time. Not stuck together. Like when
Stuck
you get
together.
when you get like yogurt and in the package they're like clicked
Oh, yeah, that
together
sucks.
so you
Yep.
can't grab it out. You're like I have to
You gotta
undo the
do-
whole thing and crack them all open.
Right.
Or like string cheese in the giant bag. They're all together. So you can't pull one out. You have to take them out and like
You have to peel one
it
off.
I hate that. Why would we do that? Separate them so you can pull them out.
Look at all these like small inconveniences that
I
upset you.
hate life. is what- Okay, my last thing though is when celebrities start their own company or product because like all of a sudden life inconvenienced them. And what I mean by that again,
Right.
Ben
Give us an
phrase.
example.
I saw the other day some celebrity was like, when I got pregnant, I noticed there was no good prenatals or like what, and so she invented
Oh
some.
yeah.
And all of a sudden you're like, oh, was like it not good enough for you? So you had to like
The
make your
Lord
like
shone down upon you and decided that
And-
like
yeah, they're like, oh,
what's her
one
name?
time I had to
Somebody
eat
makes
food.
diapers.
Yeah. So they're like,
Have
so
you ever
I
had
made
to
my own.
microwave food?
And
First
I
of all,
hate
I
that.
didn't own a microwave, so I had to go get that, and then I had
hate
to
it.
warm this up. So I created a solution to microwave dinners. Never mind that they're $25 a piece.
It's
and
like
they come
everybody else has survived living without that product.
fair.
Shut the
That's
fuck
fair.
up and just go to the drugstore or whatever the scenario. I hate that all of a sudden they're like, well, it sucked for me, so I made this.
Do you have any
No.
examples?
Well, the prenatal one.
Oh, what's her name?
Okay.
What's her name makes diapers, so what is her
Sue
name?
Storm. Yeah. Jessica Alba. She was in
Jessica
the
Alba.
Fantastic Four.
Oh, really? She makes
It
diapers?
was like,
Really
Yeah,
expensive, like
because once
organic.
again, it was like, I couldn't put these shitty diapers on my child. I had to
My
make
baby cried once when I put a diaper on him, so I started a multi-million-dollar industry.
Yeah, I had to pull it up
You
from
know
the
what?
ground.
Because
I
they're
pulled
like-
myself
yeah.
up by my $1 million bootstrap,
bootstraps.
and I started
I
making diapers.
just hate that. They're like real life sucks. So
Yeah.
I made my and you're like, shut up. Just shut up and buy Pampers or whatever
Right.
yeah.
Right.
You know
So
what
I hate
would
that.
really grinds my gears? When
Uh-oh.
I try to
We
show
got
you a
him.
cool game and you don't like it.
Well grinds my gears.
Damn it, Em. And that's it for the douche. The douche. All right, guys. Should we kick off this top 10 countdown?
We gotta get cooking.
Top 10?
Yeah, let's
Can
sure.
I
Let's do
go
a
to the
top
bathroom?
10.
Let's do a top 10.
Should we do a top 10?
All right, let's take a break. All right, gang, it's that time of the podcast. It's time for the main event. We're going to do our top 3 countdown. Top 3, we're going to go 3, 2, 1. We're going to be talking about tabletop games, video games, movies, and TV. Is there any other super special, crazy topics? Let's get to it. I'm going to go first,
Good.
and we're going to go clockwise. So me, Ken, Emily.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what that meant.
Up first for me, and number 3 for this month is the board game from 2021 called Meadow. 7.8 on Board Game Geek.
Have I seen this before? Where have I
We
seen this?
just in our stories, probably.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Overall rank 213. That's extremely high on Board Game Geek. 213. I can't believe how high this is. That kind of blows my mind a little bit. Designer Clemens Kaliki. Publisher Rebel Studio. Anyway, this game I wanted to talk about because I want to talk about how the graphic design of this game helps you remember how to play it.
Talk to me.
This
Loving
game,
this.
you are essentially, I think the theme is that you're walking through a meadow near your house, and this is the stuff that you saw.
Yeah.
And so there are 2 parts of your area in front of you. There are like cards that build up vertically. These are sort of like land types, and then they're plants and bugs and animals that you saw, birds and animals and all kinds of stuff like that. And it can even be like homes and houses and flowers and fences. And then there is another part of your board that is like landscapes. They're like wider shots. Like these are the bigger places that you went. But anyway, on the board, there's a board, and it has columns and rows of cards, and there's little notches.
Was it like a 4x6 kind of thing? Or something?
It's 4x4. I think it's 4x4.
Is it just 4?
It's 4x4.
Oh, okay.
But here's the thing. You have on your turn, you have these tiles that you have, and they're pointed and they fit in the notches, or they're squared on the backside and they fit in the notches on the other board. So what can you do on your turn? All you have to do is tell somebody you play one of your tokens, and you either fit it into one of the notches, or you fit it into one of the pointy notches, or you fit it into one of the square notches.
Cool.
And if you put it on the pointy side, then whatever's on that side of the token, you do. And if you put it on the square side, whatever's on that side of the token, you do. That's
So
the thing.
simple.
It's so cool.
So
And-
simple.
Right. So on the tip, most of the stuff you're doing is the pointy side, which is it'll have a number and then it'll show the symbol for playing a card. So you can pick up the card that is that number spaces away from wherever you put it. So it's a 4x4 grid. If you put it into one of the notches and you put the number 3, you count 3 spaces from the way that your token is pointing, and you take that card. Then you can play a card from your hand. You start the game with a hand of cards, of 5 cards, I believe, and you can only play 1 card per turn normally, so you always have some more cards in your hand to play around with. And I love that, because what can you do on your turn? Well, if you played notched side, it says which card you pick up, and it shows you can play a card. If you play the flat side, there are these other abilities. One of them is play 2 cards. One of them is pick up any card. One of them is get a new road token. And so the what you do on your turn is play one of these things, and the things show what they do. Also, the art in this game is stupendous.
Gorgeous.
It's really,
Yeah.
it's just absolutely gorgeous.
It's very fun.
Every single one of the cards
Just
is
to
just
look
so
at it.
pretty.
Yeah, it is really pretty.
And I like the last time we played, I was like, I'm going to get every B card. Like I went above and beyond to get the Bs.
Yeah.
And then I wanted flowers for them to be in.
Man,
and
I wanted those one flowers so bad for no reason. Did not help me in any way. But I was like, they're so pretty.
Right.
And then you took them, I think.
It's not
and-
cartoony, you know? It's
No. It's
like
realistic, but
watercolors.
watercolored.
Yeah.
It's very, very pretty.
It's really great looking.
All of the cards make you want to get them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what? But cards. So you pick up a card. You could play a card. How do you play a card? A card will have requirements of symbols that you need to be able to see in your meadow, in your play area, your meadow, your play area. If you can see those symbols, then you can play that card. And
you
here's
have
the
to play
thing.
it on one of the symbols.
You play it, and you have to cover up one of the. You play it under one of the columns, covering up one of the symbols. And here's the thing. So there's bases to your columns of cards in your meadow. There are the symbol that the base card gives you is in the bottom left of the card. So as you stack these, kind of overlay these cards up, that bottom will always be visible. You'll always have the symbol of the bottom card. All the other cards, the cards that aren't base cards, they have their symbol in the top left. So when you play a card over top of them, that symbol disappears.
Yep.
So you look down. If you have the matching symbols somewhere in your meadow, you have to play this card in the column of one of the matching symbols. If you play it over the one that matched, like let's say one of the bases, well, then you could be covering up any random symbol. Or you covering up one of the symbols that the card just used, essentially. But then that card gives you a new symbol. So where can you play cards? It shows you, do you have these symbols or not?
Right.
And it came up, there's also the landscape cards at the top. You need to have a road to play a landscape card. Okay, well, you have these road tiles that if you run out of them, you can do one of these actions to get more. They'll also have requirements, but you have to overlap them from right to left because they'll overlap the symbols as they go. And Emily was playing them left to right.
Yeah, I was so confused at first.
And was super confused because why are your symbols still...
I was like, how many of these do you need? I was like,
she was like, how do you play this card? Why can I see all this stuff? And all we had to do was wait, your cards are stacked in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
She restacked them in the correct direction, and the rules didn't have to be taught. It was obvious then.
Yeah.
It was obvious how it worked. So everything about what you can do, where you can play cards and what you can do, and how the cards consume symbols as they're played is all in this graphic design, on top of the fact that this game is absolutely beautiful. Just makes for sort of a very enjoyable experience. Now, if you want to talk about gameplay and smart decisions and that kind of stuff, there is some there. There is some there.
I think there's definitely strategy there.
Absolutely.
I mean, you could also make it super simple and just grab stuff and play it on the simple. But a lot of times you're like, okay, I have, I don't know, like a mushroom and a bird card, and I need this, this, and this. And you're like, well, if I get this, it'll give me that top, symbol, and then I can get that to put on that symbol to get that. And so you're kind of like having to do the 4 steps ahead. And then sometimes, then I get all those cards and I go, what the fuck was I doing? And so then
somebody takes one of the cards that was in the middle of your plan and
you're
it
like,
destroys it.
Hold on, what was I? So there's definitely strategy, but it can also be kind of like a super easy, I'll just get this and I'll play it here. And can be kind of a light game too.
What I often find, though, unfortunately, is I feel like there's one of the special actions is to play 2 cards. So normally on your turn, you pick up a card and play a card. All right, so your hand size stays consistent. But typically cards are giving you points. So the more cards you have, the more points you have at the end, in general, let's say. So using the ability to play 2 cards in one turn gives you essentially an extra turn of the game.
Yeah.
Right? You should be ahead by using that. And so I fall into that trap all the time. I play that and play that and play that. And now I have no cards in my hand. Or a card in my hand I'll never be able to play. And the whole rest of the game means me looking at the board, trying to find a card that I can play, getting that card and playing it. And then on the next turn, looking at the board, looking at for any card I can play, and then getting that card and playing it. Yeah. And I have, and so then I'm not doing the stuff Emily's talking about. I'm not making a plan. I'm not doing good plays. Me thinking I'm getting ahead actually gets me in a situation where I'm just sort of throwing trash onto my board. And I don't think I've ever won this game.
No, I actually checked. I've won every time we've played, which I thought was kind of funny. I checked last time. And I was like, I like this game. And I'm like, oh, that's probably why. Because I've won.
So I look and, me thinking I know what to do optimally, it doesn't happen. But I want
it's so pretty.
I want to highlight this game as just something that both is very pretty to look at. It's so much so that I find just that experience in itself enjoyable.
Yeah.
And then the graphic design of the player pieces and the cards force the rules.
The user experience just
right. The game enforces its own gameplay. The components enforce the rules.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's just a really nice representation of that.
I also just love that you have to it's hard sometimes because you're like, well, I wanted to play this card different. I don't know, you having to play your cards to then get other cards. It's different. It doesn't sound different the way I'm saying it, but it's different than most games we play. And I just find it very unique the way you have to play them down.
It's one of the big reasons I've never sought out the expansion, because I'm very afraid that any expansion to it would require me to have to remember rules.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Because in the base game, I don't have to remember anything. It all works how it looks like it works.
I think
it's one of the things I don't like about the expansion for Lost Ruins of Arnak. I don't want to have to go read how the different players work.
Yeah, I'm annoyed by that. I hate that.
I don't want to do that.
I want the
don't
expansion to be a plus to the game. I don't want it to be more work.
Yeah, I don't want to have to go read the rule book for how this player's cards work. No, thank you.
I think that one of our friends has the expansion, so we can always borrow it.
We should check it out.
Be wrong.
Anyway, that is my number 3, Meadow.
Whoop, whoop.
Ken, what is your number 3 this month?
I have no number 3. I have no number 2. There's only one thing I'm interested in.
You've got
Number
one
one.
shining
Do
bastion.
you want to talk about it now or wait?
Just one gem. I'm just going to wait and be polite.
Gonna wait it out.
Yeah.
Be polite.
I'm going to steal Ken's number 3, and I'm going to throw in...
I have a feeling that Ken's number 1 is something that you also have.
Yeah.
So I might steal
Probably
Ken's
the
number 2 for
shared
another
number
one.
one.
I'm
Yeah.
going to end up having mentioned 5 things.
That's fine.
But for Ken's number 3, I'm going to mention The Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master by Mike Shea. It's a book on how to be a DM.
Oh, nice.
And do it with just not doing too much work, but not too little work. What are some helpful tools to prepare a game and make better games? And it's even the book is broken down into a way to be lazy, where there's just a checklist at the end of each chapter that says essentially here's what I talked about in this chapter. If you only want to read this part,
key topic.
What's it called again? Just because I think this is so good.
Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master by Mike Shea.
Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master.
It's essentially like being a dungeon master for dummies, like those books that were like yellow and black.
Well, this is the revision to his original, The Lazy Dungeon Master.
I was going to say, okay.
Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master is the new edition. That's the one I'm reading right now. It's very good.
I love that. I might just read that for fun, to be honest.
It's great. And the art's kind of funny. It's at the whole time that it's like D&D monsters, but also they're playing D&D. They have little miniatures and stuff.
I don't know why. So a lot of times Ben complains about the art by Gooey Cube.
Oh God.
I don't know why you complain. I feel like it's great. Once again, it's very D-listy.
I gotta look this up
I
now.
love when it's bad.
Oh, you're not.
It'll be
find
like
it,
a guy turns into a beer barrel, and he's literally made of beer barrels or something. I will admit it is so bad, but that's what makes it so great. I don't know why.
I'll find the
You're
beer
always like,
barrel
I
guy.
can't show this, and it's like, why would you not show this? If you're you're not having fun if you're not showing this.
I don't like the Santa drawing. I'll say that much.
I love the drawings in Gooey Cube. Also, they're very one could be done by a legit artist. One could be done by a 12-year-old. You would not know because they are so boop, boop, boop,
They
boop,
clearly
back and forth.
farmed it out all over the place.
Love it though.
Okay, here we go. For anybody on audio, I apologize, but I believe
Did you find it?
I believe we've shown this before, but here he is. The
God, I
still
love
that comes to life.
What?
I love the priest lady too. Why is her hair sticking up
It's
like that?
hey.
But then when you
love it.
beat him, he has a second boss phase where this comes out.
Yes.
Theme?
Yes.
Nice.
Moonshine Elemental. Oh, come on. Why would you not want to show these?
It's fun.
This is you're scratching the surface here.
I'm
Em,
sorry.
Of what
I
the
love
possibilities
those.
That's
are.
really
I'm just
bad.
saying I
that
love
looks
them.
like bad AI generated art, right?
I
That's
feel like
like
it's, yeah, right. It's probably, it probably is but I love them. See, that's why though Ben's always like, you should just like come and play this one character. You would hate it if I played a character because I'd be like, "This is me," and I would show it, and you'd be like,
don't
"No,"
understand,
like it would be horrible, and I'd be like, "I burned the place down."
You
it would
would
be horrible.
Perfect. We'll make a character that is that,
I
and then
couldn't
it'll
do
be.
it. I'm sorry. Yes, look at
oh man, that's really bad.
look. I like even the font is like it's like straight, like it's not even on.
Yeah,
Oh
the
my
perspective
gosh.
isn't correct.
I love it. It's so good.
I'll find an even better one.
I don't like that.
Now you got to
Now,
find the clip art
It's
chalice.
bad when
Brush
you're
my
like
teeth now.
when you're like I had to pay for it. I get it that you're
Sure,
like this is what you gave me. But boy, I kind of enjoy to be like, and this is what you're
You
writing.
like how
in.
cheesy it is?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I don't want to
cheesy.
play unless it's cheesy. I don't want a real story. I turn into a hawk and I fly away.
Well-
like I want to make up shit that doesn't exist.
I very recently showed the players this. Look at this. Look at the clip art chalice at the end of this.
Why
room.
is this so bad?
I love this.
Again,
I
perspective.
can't believe someone. Let's think about this. So someone made this and they go like 1,500
ship
people
it.
bought this shit. They bought it. Who
And
cares?
in some cases, like this, all looks great.
But like all the chalice
Yeah, a
things
lot
look
of the
great.
dungeon rooms
right?
here are cool.
With we tried. Hold on. Whoa.
Look at this guy. Look at these guys coming up.
Hold on. Can we zoom in on him?
Yeah, enhance.
What?
Computer
Yeah.
enhance.
You know when like a
Oh,
SVU. Oh.
dehance.
I like it. I
Pull
love
out.
this.
Back up.
I love it.
What else we
Just-
got?
Here, we're gonna rank.
Whoa,
D&D
wait. Was that
art.
spider webs?
Yeah.
No.
No, they never went in there though. I never
That's
found
not
that
even
place.
a good spider web.
That's really
you just
bad.
need a spider web.
All right, Emily, what is
webs
are-
your
I'm
number
sorry.
3?
My number 3. Okay, we recently someone sent us a deck building game. And I just wanted to like quickly go over a few deck building games and then talk about this game. Sorry.
You know what's
This
funniest
art
to
for
me
D&D is
about this
so-
picture is that there would need to be an attendant that says, "Please, take the stairs to the left." I like that it's
There's like a
asymmetrical.
guardrail.
Why
This was-
they had to
Right.
plan this devil worshipping room with the size they had?
The funny thing is that nobody's been down here for like 60 years, and they come into
Looks
this room,
great.
and
And he's
here's
ready
this
to
guy
roll?
sitting at this desk, and he was so happy to have
at him.
visitors come in.
Heyo.
He was so excited. This isn't in any of the book or anything. I was like, what would this guy be like if he'd been trapped down here for 60 years with nobody who'd come and seen him?
Look at him, he's
and
proud.
now here he is at this
He's
desk.
just
ready.
thrilled, right?
The players ended up freeing him from his duties at the desk, but instead of like completely freeing him, he is now Phil's familiar and trapped inside the body of a goat. But he walks around on just his
course,
hind legs.
Phil
Think of
would.
like Zuko from the Emperor's New Groove. Wait, that's not his name. What's
Nope.
his name?
Never
That's
saw
not it.
Zuko's from Avatar.
Yeah, I was like, we're talking about different things.
Prince something. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway,
I just enjoy that.
What's
art.
your number 3?
Deck builders?
Okay.
We recently got sent a deck builder game. If I could turn my page, I can't. And so I wanted to talk about some and then kind of talk about it.
Kuzco.
So-
Sorry.
Does he walk on? He doesn't walk on 2 though.
No, I don't think so.
He walks like a goat because he's like an alpaca, and he walks like an alpaca or llama or whatever.
Right. Okay, anyway, deck builders.
Okay. Well, you need to watch that movie again. That's a good movie. Okay. I'm sorry. So the deck builder game that we got was DC deck building game Injustice. And we're like, sure. We had been playing Thunderstone Quest, which is another deck
Awesome
building
game. I love Thunderstone
and
Quest.
so we're like, sure, let's try it. Wasn't a fan of it. But I wanted to really quick be like, okay, so the main deck builder games that we currently own that I thought of: Dominion, Clank, Thunderstone Quest, Taverns, Lost Ruins of Arnak, and then the DC game. So I wanted to just like quickly be like, this is what I like about these games. So Dominion, I think, is a perfect like start of a deck building game. It's very straightforward. Like, do your cards in a way where you're like, get another card, pick it up, get another card, do an action, and you buy cards for points. Very simple. It's just cards the whole game. Clank is deck building, plus you have your little meeple through the dungeon. You're picking up treasure, you're using your cards to move, to fight, to open doors, like get money, all that stuff. So that's a good one, but you also have your little meeple guy to move around. Thunderstone Quest is, I guess you have like a meeple or character, but it's mainly cards fighting monsters. Use your deck to fight like the monsters, strengthen your heroes. I like that you can upgrade heroes in that one. So you get stronger, you can like buy more and get stronger cards for your heroes. So that one you can progress, which I like. Now in DC deck building, Ben, you can also talk about this because you played it. I feel like you did not progress or like in any way. It was, so we each start with the character, and there's like, the way we played it, there's like a boss in the middle that you can fight, or you can knock out your opponent. And then there's cards that you can buy. And I do like that you can knock them out. Like you can go down from, I don't know what it is, 20 to 0 multiple times. You just take like a knockout token. So it's not like someone gets to 0 and you're done. It's like you play until the end of a different scenario. But I felt like you never got better. It's not like I was like upgrading Batman. I wasn't getting better cards. It was like the same cards were coming out the whole time. So you're like, I don't know. Let's get it just didn't seem like you like got better. What do you think, Ben?
Well, you bring up a good, like Thunderstone Quest especially, your deck at the end of that game is insanely powerful in comparison to your deck at the beginning of the game.
Right. And that's what you want.
Right. If you think back
I want to be able to like upgrade.
Well, and like Clank, what I like about my deck in there is that it becomes like there's so much variety. Like you can, by the end of the game, you have so much in your deck that's like cool and fun and interesting. And in Dominion, you build a deck that is an absolute like point scoring machine.
It's
in
like
some
a machine
way.
At that point. Yeah.
You have spent the game designing an apparatus, a machine that is going to score you as many points as you can, as fast as you can. And this, I don't know. It never really felt like I got anywhere with my deck. It just kind of was weird.
So the way we played, I was Batman. Who are you?
Wonder Woman.
Okay, so we have characters. There was also like a boss in the middle that you could fight if you had enough, points or whatever. And then it would switch bosses and keep going. And then when you got to the end of those, like the game was done. But I almost wish that with each boss, like a new, maybe like deck of cards would come out or something.
Yeah.
So that's like, oh, we're going to amp it up each time or something.
Right.
Instead, it was like the same cards you could buy over and over. And I was like,
disappointing. That's
hit 2, hit 3. It was like nothing. I was never like, now I can do this. I don't know. It was like at the beginning you could hit, let's say 3, and at the end you're like, I can hit 5. Like you didn't really. Nothing happened. And it was long. It took us like an hour.
I think that's the main thing I didn't like about it. Playing that game made me just want to play a lot of other games I like more. If we were going to sit there and beat up on each other, I wanted to play Radlands. Or I wanted to play Wizards of the Grimoire. I wanted to play even like what's the dice rolling one?
Dice Throne?
Dice Throne.
Okay. I was like, so you're talking
I think I would rather play Puzzle Strike than this game.
Yeah, this was very boring. It was like the same cards come out, and also your main character doesn't do much. It was like every now and then they can do one. It just didn't.
I definitely like ran away with it too, because some of the most powerful cards in the game are when you defeat the supervillains, and which Emily was referring to as like the boss.
Yeah.
So there's like a store, and you develop power, I think it's called, or strength or something like that,
Yeah.
and you can use that to buy new cards to put in your deck. Well, if you get enough, you can buy the super villain card, a new one comes out. If you get all the way through that deck,
Yeah.
that ends the game. Also, if you kill each other enough times, that ends the game. So there's a couple ways for the game to end.
Jeez.
But the super villain cards are super strong, and if you defeat them, they go in your deck, which makes you stronger. So you're probably the only person who can
But-
defeat the next super
But
villain.
other than that one supervillain card, like the other cards you could buy were nothing special. And they seemed like they were just repeating. It was like the same shit came out. I just wish there, I don't know, more variety or so. It just seemed very boring. We sat there for an hour and we're like, well, are we going to finish or what are we doing?
Nah, it wasn't my jam.
I mean, if you like love DC and I mean, maybe you would be like, oh, but I love the art and the character, but I don't know. I just felt like it kind of fell flat. So, I mean, Ben, if you had to pick, what's your favorite deck building game that we have?
Thunderstone Quest. Man, maybe Clank. Thunderstone Quest. Depends who I'm playing with.
It does
If
depend.
I'm going to play 2-player, Thunderstone. If I'm going to play more than 2-player, Clank.
Clank is definitely like more of a light deck builder, though, just because it's more of like a fun, goofy.
But I like how lighthearted it is.
Yeah, but Thunderstone Quest, I feel like, is a really good deck builder. Like, it's intense, but I like how much you can upgrade stuff. You can upgrade your heroes from 1 to level 4.
And they're,
so you
like,
can
insanely
keep doing
powerful.
it. And the weapons with it, like, I like how much you can do that.
It's cool
So-
because if you defeat monsters, you get experience points, which are points at the end of the game. But you can also, if you go to town and you draw your heroes, you can spend those experience points to level your heroes up. You trade in
Yeah.
their current level card and you get out their next
yeah,
level
I like
card.
that you
And
can
you
like
put that in your
upgrade
deck.
them that much.
And it's more powerful. It's really cool.
And the fact that you can like get to level, 1, 2, 3, 4, like I like that you can actually do that. Where some it's like, did you just get that cool card and that's about it?
It just feels
Yeah.
like your deck tells a story. You're like,
Yeah.
I got a bunch of fighters, and I got a bunch of the fighter. I leveled them up, and I got a bunch of like weapons for them to use. And now I'm drawing weapons and fighters, and they're crushing everybody. It's really cool. Or I got a bunch of magic, or I got a bunch of whatever.
Right. You can tell that you like progress and upgrade in that one. In the DC one, it was like, I don't know. I have more cards in my deck, but I feel like I'm not doing any better.
Plus, it's this one was the Injustice. This was DC Deck Builder is the system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it was Injustice where it's all everyone's a bad guy, everyone's a good guy, everybody's fighting each other.
Oh, no.
It's
Right.
like breaks it fits a game well, I guess. But I was never.
It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't make
Right.
any sense, right? Like you can try to tell a story all day about and try to justify injustice, but it's just
I don't
not my
know.
thing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's number 3.
Okay,
Yikes.
my number 2. Boy, I hope I'm not stealing your number 1 here, Ken. But this is my number 2.
You are.
It is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Is that your number 1, Ken?
Yeah. I look like is there like what Sesame Street character do I?
Oscar the Grouch.
No, there's like
no, there is one. Well,
he's
you
like a
kinda look
vegetable. Is he a broccoli?
Yes, I know you.
I think he is a broccoli. And he's got like a flap that opens.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah, and it's somebody's hand doing that.
Yeah.
Basic. Yeah. Anyway.
So Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
this is my number 2 also.
When you still lived here,
Let it rip. Okay, yeah.
when you still lived here, we went and watched Spider-Man enter the
Multiverse.
into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
And that was, I think that was after Infinity War. It was right around the same time.
It was after, I
I
think.
think it was after.
It was after.
I do remember I walked
me just look.
out of that movie theater. We brought our some of
You
our
made it
kids.
sound like you walked down the middle.
We walked, and I know we walked out, and I remember turning to you and saying, "I think that's the best Marvel movie I've ever seen."
Yeah.
The first one, I loved it, and so I was very excited to go watch this one. You said it was really good, this one, and so I had high expectations, which is normally a bad recipe.
Oh,
Yep.
Spider-Man was actually 2018. I think Infinity War might have been the same.
This came
Well-
out. I don't know, actually.
Anyway, Across the Spider-Verse is in theaters right now.
They're both the same year.
We just saw it. And I had super high expectations. I wanted it to be great. I had no idea it's a pretty long movie. And it absolutely blew me away. I loved this movie so much. It really just, I don't know. Can somebody put some words on this while I try to think about what I want to say about this movie?
You talk about, I've heard a lot of people compare sequels for any movie genre or universe or whatever. Everybody always wants to call it, what's the second Star Wars movie?
Empire
Strikes Back. Or what was the second Dark Knight movie?
The Dark Knight.
Yeah,
The Dark Knight?
Wasn't it? Wasn't the first
Batman
one?
Begins,
Batman
The Dark
Begins.
Knight.
Dark Knight,
Right.
yeah.
No, it's Batman Begins, then The Dark Knight, then
Batman.
the one with Bane is Batman.
Batman phones it in.
Something.
Anyway.
I don't know.
But if you talk about like the gold standard for sequels is Dark Knight and Empire Strikes Back. This absolutely sits at that second movie. Like, I could not think they could do it better. This makes the art, the sound, the soundtrack, everything about this movie makes the first movie look quaint. And that one was like, oh my God, it's a technical masterpiece.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I will say if it's got a disadvantage, you have to watch the first one or you will be like
Yeah, you'd be
sensory.
confused.
You'll be overloaded.
I don't think you have to be like, I think you would still get it.
Oh, yeah.
mean,
You'd
it might
follow.
just take, you'd follow. I get that you need, like, the first one is a plus, but I don't think it's like, if you miss the first one, you're not like, what is going on?
That's
like,
true,
you
but
know.
it does kind of
Yeah.
assume you've seen the first one.
Yeah, but they kind of also are like, hey, just so you remember.
Oh,
Like,
they
kind of do
give you
that.
the catch up and all that.
I mean,
but
enough
like,
to, but yeah, I know what you mean, though.
I think if you hadn't seen the first one, you could be overwhelmed by the art style in this because
Yeah, it could be a lot at first.
I think, Ben, you were saying in the Discord, the Fart Lords, it does not hold back in terms of like, this universe is watercolor and we're going to stay in this universe for 15 minutes and you are going to have to sort of adapt to this sort of thing where like, there's a lot of multiverse movies out right now and a lot of them are pretty weak, in my opinion, on like, what if we went to a world where we're all cheesecakes?
Oh, God.
Like this movie,
Yeah.
they spend 15 minutes being cheesecakes. And you meet Spider Cheesecake. And Spider Cheesecake has an arc. And his arc is important to the greater storyline. Like they just, I think this is a masterpiece. Of a movie.
The first one was really like, what if we made the movie look like the comic books? And then what if there was multiple comic books that were mixed together and the things from each of the different style comic books stayed their style.
Yes.
And,
Well, yes.
and this one, while still staying in that, the first
Being
one
true
I
to
felt,
that. Yeah.
I felt like the first one was very much like, we're going to try to make this movie look like comic books.
Yes.
And we're going to mix them all together. And this one said, okay, that worked so well that we could make a movie look like something else, that somebody said, what if we pushed, what if there was no rules? What if we pushed visuals as far as we wanted? What if we used the visuals of the movie to tell just as much of the story as the dialogue, as the music, as the story?
Yeah.
We use the visuals to say just as much. And it's like somebody unlocked something that I've never seen before in an animated movie. They're using the animation and the movie as a new sort of like visual medium to tell a story, to portray emotion, and to make you feel a certain way.
Yeah, it's like each personality and world of Spider-Man has a different art style. And so you know as soon as you're in there, like the art's going to be different, the emotion's going to be different, the personality's going to be different. But like it's like pretty to watch. It's so amazing to watch that.
And the art style meets the emotion, which meets the character, right?
Yeah.
If it's a tragic Spider-Man story, their world looks tragic. It's darker. It's like what's the word? Like seeping or sort of somebody has a watercolor world, and I won't say who it is. It fits so appropriately with what they're going through in their universe. And so, I just cannot praise this enough. It's unreal to me.
It's just, to me, it's like, it just makes me like, it's a thing of the time. I've seen so many live action superhero movies from the Marvel Disney multiverse that to be able to say like, no, this stuff isn't real. So what if we could just tell the stories of superheroes and not have to make it look real?
Yeah.
What if we could just make it look however we want? And then what if we executed on that in such an excellent way? You think about the stuff, we're talking about different art styles and stuff and how that all blends and how cool that is. But then the times where it is just delivering straight up on like normal animation. Think about the scene. This isn't a spoiler. The scene where they're on the like train that's going to the moon. You think about how cool on the space elevator. You think about how cool the space elevator looks and how that was like classic like Japanese anime.
Oh,
like
it's very
speeding space elevator, and you're like, this is freaking awesome.
That's a great example of using the medium that live action can't do. The speed of that train is difficult to comprehend the way they've portrayed it. Right?
Yes.
It's at near light speed, right? And everybody's holding on. Like, you can't do that in live action. And I watched some review or read a review where it was like, I think Spider-Man's an animated character. I don't think
it doesn't work. Yeah.
I mean, he's good. And some of the newer movies are good. He works in live action, but he excels here, right? Where you can just go crazy. Doesn't apply to all characters, right? This world doesn't make sense for Iron Man necessarily, right? Or Batman.
And it wouldn't be.
So
I just like that they show how much like emotion.
It was very
and, like,
emotional.
Personality it is to each character. It's not just like there's different art styles for each character or different years they were made or like whatever. But it's like the like personality and the emotion of them, and you can see it instantly based off of the art around them and how they
art
like
always accentuates the emotion. And like, man, you leave this movie, you're mad at characters, you're sort of happy with characters, but like, boy, this is not gonna work out. It's sort of I won't say towards the end, but it really is like, it's pretty intense in terms of character development and
they made me care. They made me this is a movie that I, in the back of my head, could feel the runtime getting long, and I was starting to get scared that the movie's going to run. We are going to run out of movie.
I know, in which case you're like, please don't say they sum this up in a shitty way, like, because you actually care about the characters. They don't.
They expertly end this movie. I think.
Yes.
It ended. I had the same feeling at the end of this as I did like coming up towards the end when I was a teenager and I was in Fellowship of the Ring watching that movie. I didn't know really the story of Lord of the Rings. I'm in Fellowship of the Ring watching that movie, and we're running out of time, and you're just like, come on, like when it ends, that first one ends, you're like, I want to, what the hell?
Like,
and this was the same thing where I was like, we're running out of time here. What's going to happen? Like,
but I'm so glad.
It does it though. I mean, it's just,
Not only is it, I mean, it is a long movie. It's like 2.5 hours. It's
nonstop.
But I love though that they don't just try to go, let's just wrap this up.
Right.
I'm so happy because I would have been so disappointed if they were like, and blah blah,
and
saves the day.
Oh, the bad guy got there, and let's fight, and all this sort of stuff.
I would have been so annoyed. So I'm very happy with the way it happened and how they ended and all that. But yeah, I don't know. Just
I don't think this is a spoiler because it was announced when they announced this movie years ago, but I'll say spoiler for the next 30 seconds. It's a proper cliffhanger.
yeah,
Like, not in the way that Marvel does, like, oh, and Iron Man's over here doing this. Sort of like, well, we'll get to that later. This is a proper cliffhanger where
yeah. I agree.
we finished this part, but boy, we are not done here.
If
Well,
someone,
and that's the thing.
yeah, if someone ended with the word just fuck, that would also be like, yep,
It's like,
And, well, like, why is that so good, right? It's because there
It
are
is good.
multiple stories overlapped on top
Yes.
of each other.
Yes.
And none
Yes.
of them were resolved. And you're like,
maybe
whoa.
one. I would say maybe one
Yeah.
is.
yeah.
But there's
Maybe
so
one.
many layers.
There
And-
are so many layers, and they could start the next one, and they could easily add 20 more layers with previous characters, and
I'm
you would
in.
be like, yeah, I get it.
Hell yeah.
That makes sense.
Give me Spider Ham's like really dark origin of John Mulaney doing that Looney Tunes spider or the pig.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
I mean, they didn't just leave it as like there's just one story. It is like you could name a gazillion things that could happen,
There's
should happen,
so-
could tell
well,
about. Like,
everybody in this behaves like people do, and things don't resolve cleanly most of the time, right?
yeah,
This story is very similar to how we sort of process things in our own mind where, well, I've resolved this arc, but everything else in the real world still needs to be dealt with, right? I think this is better than the past 15 Marvel movies,
I
without a
agree.
doubt.
yeah.
yeah.
And I'm a Marvel boy, so go watch these
I'm a Marvel
animated
boy.
movies. These are insane.
The way that it sort of like builds in, it's just so intense until you can't take it, and then they have a
Oh, they have one more
low
intense
tension.
thing.
They have a low tension area.
Punch
though.
in the face right
It's like
before.
there's so much visual and audio stuff and story stuff happening, and then it slows down for a second, and you
Yep.
catch your breath, and then it does it again, and it's just like,
Yes.
I absolutely loved watching this movie in the theater. I just loved
Speaking
it.
of which, I would recommend, if you have one near you, go see it on like the premium screen with the premium sound or whatever for the extra $4. We went to, I don't know what it's called, like Ultra XD or, XD's Nuts Theater. It's not quite an IMAX.
Oh, but
but
close to.
The screen is so big, you can't
Oh, that's
look
cool.
away from it. Right?
That would be cool.
And the sound was there. It was, I think we paid $15, which is a lot. I think it's worth, like, this is a super great movie. I can't.
This
praise
is
it
where I
enough.
would actually spend the money.
Yeah.
This is also a great like example of when people are like, well, I don't know, who cares if we use AI? And I want to be like, this is why we shouldn't
Yeah,
be using
right.
AI,
You can't
because AI
ship
would
that
not
stuff
come
out.
up with this shit. And
Well, and
this
it
was
wouldn't
like
get it.
beautiful and it
Yeah.
would just like, this was a great story, great visual, great everything. And it's because people came up with this flippant story. So when
Because
they're
it
like,
comes from real people, right? It comes
Yeah.
from real experiences and sort of,
yeah.
you have to have felt those things to portray them properly.
Man.
Oh man.
But this is, when people are like, well, I don't know, we could just use AI. And you're like, no, I want stories like this rather than like the garbage that's been coming out lately, I feel like, because of
man.
it. So,
Yeah, this really puts to shame a lot of even like Pixar stuff lately.
Yeah.
Where they've kind of like, I don't know, maybe they're all babies and they need to get to the MacGuffin. It's a lot of
I
phoning
feel
it
like
in
everything
happening.
has just been kind of like, wah, wah. And then I watched this and I was like, oh, this is what movies should
Yeah.
be. Like, this
Tell a
was
damn
great.
story.
And so, this was really good.
Was this also your number 2, Em?
Yeah, this was my number
This was
two.
all of
guys-
ours.
This is my number 1, so you guys suck. So you can.
Don't worry,
What could
Ken. I have a number
possibly
1
be
for you.
greater than this.
Well, I put this as my number 2 because I knew Ben had it. And I was like, well, we'll do it same time as him. But then when you said you had one, I was like, well, we all have the same thing.
I didn't necessarily put mine in order of how excited I should have thought about that. This is number one.
I shift mine on the fly.
This is number one.
Yeah, this
without
would be
a doubt.
my number one.
No question. This was the best thing I did this month.
I just put
I suppose
absolutely.
Our ranking isn't necessarily preference. But in this case,
I just knew that
be.
Ben would have it, and I wanted to get it out there before.
Normally, I try to do preference. I was just, for some reason, doing my order in the order I opened my tabs here in Chrome that I was looking at, so I didn't forget what I was going to talk about. But number one, absolutely, this was spectacular. I really enjoyed it.
And you definitely don't need to be like, I love Spider-Man to see it.
You don't have to know anything about.
You don't have to know anything
helps,
I mean, it helps, but like. I think you would still enjoy it either way.
But also, part of the point of this movie is that this is a new Spider-Man, right? This is not. You don't have to watch Tobey Maguire cry over an old dude again. Although I think that's in this movie.
I think it's in it.
We're not having to. Yeah, that's true. We're not retelling Peter Parker's origin story.
For a second.
We are watching the construction of Miles Morales' origin story.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is being created before us.
Yeah.
This is later. When you need to retell the origin story of Miles Morales, you will tell the story of, well, I don't want to say it.
Yeah,
but you would tell the story.
You'll point to this. Right?
Yeah.
This is, and it's cool to see. It feels like we're actually watching an origin story, whereas a lot of movies' origin stories are like, it almost assumes you already know a lot of this, sort of.
Yeah.
The nature of an origin story in a generic sense. Anyway, yeah, go watch it. I'll shut up.
It's good.
Yeah. All right. Let's flip over then to, I guess, our number one or our last one, because I hate to call this my number one, but it was the last one I had on my list. I wanted to talk about some video games, and because Ken, you don't have another one, I'm going to talk about two video games.
Let's crank it out.
First one I'm going to talk about is the one I've brought here. I wanted to talk about Darkest Dungeon 2.
Ooh,
which finally released. Okay. It released in full. It was in. What's it called on Steam when it's
alpha or green
early
light
access
or something? Early access.
It was early access for a while. Finally, 1.0 came out, and I'm not necessarily sure if I like Darkest Dungeon 2 better than Darkest Dungeon 1, but it's certainly the one I gravitate to now to go play.
Sure.
It's almost like less brutal. I remember in one, like you would have.
First one we talked about. I had to take breaks from that game because of how claustrophobic it feels.
Right. And you kind of like weave your way through the dungeon. And if you go back, if you leave, if you get out and you go back, you have heroes who didn't die. They might need to go like, there's the whole mechanics.
They need medicine. They need
medicine, or they need like mental health, or they need to go like pray at the church or whatever. And then eventually they're good enough to go back and fight again. Yeah. And you have this essentially roster of heroes that you're managing to go back into the dungeon. It's a little bit like XCOM.
Yes.
In this one, it's not like that at all. It's pure run based. So at the start of a run, you pick what 4 heroes you want from your list of the ones you have unlocked. So at the start, you only have 4. So you pick those 4. You do a run. If you make it all the way through, whatever, if you die at some point, whatever, you start back over at the start again, and you could pick the same 4 classes, but they're 4 different people. There's no management of your heroes from mission to mission.
Huh.
Yeah, so instead, what you do is everything is progression based. Every time you play, you're progressing the story of one of the hero classes. You're unlocking more classes, or you're making them stronger, or you're unlocking new stuff that you can find. And you may earn a lot of the stuff to spend. You may earn a little, but every time you go do a run, you earn a little bit to get a little bit stronger, to make it a little bit easier to go a little bit further. Mm-hmm. Right? And it is different. I don't know if I like it more. I don't know if I like it more than the other one, but it's much easier to pick up and play because I could sit down, start a run. I don't have to worry about who's doing what.
I could see that.
Who needs to be healed or this or that. I just start a run. It still has the same core gameplay where you have a line of 4 people and
You're
a
lined up.
line of
Yep.
enemies. And your people have certain abilities, but they can only trigger from certain spots in the line, and they only target certain spots in the line. And that gameplay is still fun. It's still fun to figure out where should everybody be standing, what should they be doing, in what order, to what enemies. That's going to make me take the least amount of damage, do the most amount of damage, and not go crazy while trying to do it. And it's super hard. You're gonna lose. That's when you boot.
That's how the game works.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how the game works. Every time you boot it up, every time the first thing it says is this game is super hard. You're gonna die. Right. It doesn't say it in those exact words, but it's essentially what it says. This game is tough. It's about losing, but it's about losing a little bit less each time you play it. And I think it's pretty fun. I like it.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna keep playing. I stopped playing it to play the other game. I'm gonna talk about it in a second, but. I kind of want to keep going with it.
Is it on? Forgive me if you already said. Is it on Game Pass? Xbox Game Pass?
I don't think so. I got it on Steam.
Okay.
I don't know.
Really like the first one. It is very hard, and it's very it's very dark. There's no other way to say it.
Yeah.
It's darkness and gloom is a part of that game, and it ratchets up to a point where like you sort of lean back from the monitor and, oh my God, the sun still exists.
Right. There's some happiness in the world. This one doesn't feel as oppressive because it doesn't feel as serious, because you don't feel like you're having to sort of like, you don't feel like you need to save these heroes as much as you do in the other one where you're like, I need to make sure my guy doesn't die. He's like my best guy.
It felt desperate in the first one. It's not on Game Pass. Okay. Interesting.
But a lot of fun if you like a challenge, and it's turn-based, a little fun every combat's a fun little puzzle. You have to be very careful all the time. So I'm going to steal your number one then, Ken. And I'm going to talk about Diablo 4.
Oh, okay.
Diablo.
Now,
Holy
I want to say a
shit.
couple things. So, first, how far?
Diablo.
It's Diablo. How far are you? I think I'm like level 25.
25. Yes. That's where I'm
You're
at.
about the same? You're playing a barbarian now?
I guess so.
You were a necromancer. The last time I saw you, you were a barbarian.
Yep. Barbarian.
I'm still a sorcerer.
Yep,
Sorcerer. What do you think? What do you think about it? Yeah.
I was trying to explain this to a buddy. A lot of this is very familiar, right? But it's also the best version of very familiar things.
Well,
so it's sort of like
Like a bad NBC show. Very familiar thing.
Yeah, it's like it's season 8, right?
Yeah.
It's more of the same. It's a little bit fresh. They've refined the bad things. They've added some new interesting things. There are flaws in it still. It will get a season 9. You know, there's it's okay. It's good.
I think I'm not necessarily as attracted to the gameplay as, you know, I hadn't even thought about that. I don't necessarily like the loop, you know, the click around and then cycle through your abilities that are on cooldowns. Yeah. It's like all I do essentially, I'm just watching the bottom left to see when I can trigger
1,
each
2,
of my
3,
things.
4, and Q, right? Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like I normally like that. I love, don't get me wrong, I love the shoot, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Where you run on it, and it's in place. The treadmill of a loot game.
Yeah.
Yes.
I also
and that's all this
are
is.
you trying to come up with treadmill?
But since the last Diablo, there have been so many good loot shooters. That I feel like I don't want to play Diablo anymore. I want to play a new Borderlands or Division or Destiny.
I was going to say Division, right? Like all of those games have a much more satisfying grind, whereas here You're just clicking. Just
yeah,
running cooldowns.
where
That sounds
those
sad.
the grind is hidden behind me playing a shooter.
Right? It's sort of, I might die. It's very exciting.
Right,
I
I'm
gotta
jumping, I'm
position
moving, I'm
myself,
pointing,
and
I'm shooting.
This one, you just kind of standing around.
This is literally just the grind. Though there are sometimes like I did a really hard boss fight and I pulled the kids over and I was like, okay, you watch this thing and you tell me when it refreshes. You watch this one, you tell me when it refreshes, because I was having to actually dodge attacks.
Well, I've got some bosses I need you to help me with because we need to get to work.
Absolutely.
You know what? Sorry, you finish. Finish your thought. Sorry.
I was going to agree with what you were about to say, which is that much like Division, Borderlands, and Destiny, I don't want to play this by myself.
Yep.
It's not fun to play alone. It's probably a blast to play together. It's probably
play
awesome.
The other Diablo's co-op?
Oh, yeah. That was their whole thing. Yeah.
But
Diablo?
Oh, so are you just mad?
Diablo.
Right? Well, that's what I thought. That's why I was like, can you not?
It's a
Okay.
multiplayer game. Yeah, you
Okay.
team up. I will give them credit. They have clearly taken steps to make it more interesting for single player, like main bosses and even sort of mini bosses telegraph moves, and you have a dodge now. So there is a little bit of, if you were really struggling with a boss, you could learn its moveset, so to speak, and get agile, but it's not the same. This is not Dark Souls.
We do need to play it together because,
We do.
yeah, being the sorcerer, I'm super squishy when my shield is not up, and I was fighting some guys, and I was like, this guy can. I fought a boss who could one-shot me.
Yeah.
So literally the only way I could beat him was dodging his attack that one-shotted me, which meant I was watching for that. That's why I told the kids, watch these meters. When they refresh, tell me, and I'm going to hit my shield button so that it's back up.
Yep. Yeah, it's the best version of the game, but it's also the fourth version of the game.
Yeah,
so
we
it's
just
quite
we got to get on together.
well. I'll say that, and I'll agree with you. But everything's more fun with friends. Going to the dentist
Anything's fun.
is more fun.
Yeah. Right.
Any video
With you
game is fun.
laughing at me.
How many
Yeah.
bad video games did we play?
Bad movies are fun with friends.
Yeah. Exactly.
Some of the worst video games are the most fun
Right.
with friends.
Well, that's why at first I
Could
was
you imagine
like,
playing the
didn't you guys
Strange
play this
Brigade without
together?
friends?
Yeah.
The Strange Brigade.
Hey, that was a pretty well put together.
That game was good.
Actually,
What about that Wild West game? Do you remember when we used to play that
Lead and-
World
Lead
War
and
One
Gold?
game on the bikes? Was that World War One or two?
It was World War I. What was that called?
I remember
That
hiding in a
game-
house
that
from a
game
tank.
Sucked. Playing that game solo was torture.
Oh well, Soul. I'm sure. I mean, once again,
you're just
yeah.
cannon fodder constantly. Yeah. Anyway,
But that's the thing. I love loot games. I mean, Emily and we've been playing Borderlands 3 lately, and it's awesome. I loved when we played Destiny. I loved when we
Yeah.
played Division and Division 2. I'd play Division 2 right now. That game's so good.
I would still play it. Yeah.
Spicy Joe. Anyway, there's something about Diablo 4 that doesn't make me excited, and it's weird because all the reviews were like, "This is amazing," and I'm kind of like,
That is
"This is
weird.
kind of boring."
Just
It's
sounds like it
always
didn't change
been
enough.
a boring game, though. It's never been a particularly interesting
I guess it didn't really have the
single-player
competition.
experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're right.
You know,
Yeah, you're right. Maybe I don't like my class.
but
I don't know.
but does that mean okay? They made the best version of it. Does it get a 100 out of 100, or does it get a 70 because it took them 4 tries and it's still boring, but it's finally dialed in?
You're right. You finally
You know-
made the game you should have made the first time.
At least the second time.
Right.
I don't know.
All right. We'll play it some more.
Yep.
Em-
I'll
Emily.
play it. Don't get me wrong. I'll play it.
That
But it's
brings
because
us
of you, not because of the game.
Right. That brings us to your the final number one here. What's at the top of your list?
It's It's not in order, so don't do that.
What is the most important thing in your life right
Important
now?
thing in
Right
my
now.
life right now, I picked an older board game that we have that I said that I want to bring to the cabin.
Ooh.
So it is Celestia. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, that's how I would say
Okay.
it. Celestia.
Well,
Celestia.
I didn't say it like that. You were like, yeah, I would
Celestia.
also say it like that.
I'll have the
Miles
Celestia.
Morales.
You all of a sudden had like an accent. I didn't say
I think
nice.
Ken might have played this game with me at one point.
Yes,
Maybe not.
I
I
think
think
we
so.
have played it. So
Yeah.
it is 2 to 6 players. It's 30 minutes, so it's really quick. You have like a little ship in the game that you construct, and then your little meeples go on
Yep.
the ship.
Yep.
It's a push your luck game.
Yep.
So this isn't going to be exact, but the gist of it is like you take turns being the captain. You are flying from like there's different levels to fly to, and essentially you're going, do you trust the captain to like beat the obstacles or not? So you can get off the ship and take the points that you're at, or keep going and try to get more and more points. But if you crash, you don't get anything. You roll dice, and then everyone has cards, and it's like the captain has to try to fight the dice with depending on what cards. And essentially, it's just kind of like whoever gets to 50 first wins, but it's just like a fun push your luck, like, I'm going to get off the ship. And you get off and you get a card or whatever. I don't know. It's just a really fun game, and it's super simple. It's also like, it probably takes 5 minutes to teach, if that.
That's
I feel like
perfect.
I already said,
Perfect.
what you do. And it's fun because there is a little ship, and you put your little meeple in it, and you like fly it to the next level. But yeah, I feel like that's a good cabin game, and so I wanted to mention it.
I really like this game. I like that. So in a normal push your luck game, I watch you push your luck. You watch me push my luck. Like Dead Man's Draw, for example,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
How far are you going to go? Oh, you busted. Too bad. Well, in this one, it's you are stuck on a ship with the person who is pushing their luck.
Well,
And you keep
essentially, do you trust the captain
and
to
you
push
are
their luck?
and
Is
you
what
are
it is.
right. You're betting on
Yeah.
this person to get you further and further until you finally say, "I'm out," and you take however high you made it up. You take that many points. But if you're like, "Nah, Captain, I'm riding with you to the end,"
And then
you could score tons of points, but the captain.
Yeah, the captain could take you down with the ship.
Well, and the thing is, as the captain, you are totally allowed to be like, "No, I got this. I got the cards for this. Absolutely,
We're
we're
good."
totally fine, 100%."
And then you just
that's when the
crash
person goes,
everyone.
Just lie.
"Bye. I don't believe you at all."
Yeah. It is fun. So it's push your luck, but also it's a little bit of that bluffing with everyone. which is fun.
Everybody's always playing on everybody's turn, right? Unless you get off the ship, then you just watch everybody else continue on. But that's the whole thing is like you have to trust in someone else's pushing their
Yeah.
you're pushing the luck of you're pushing the trust
Yeah.
of can the captain continue to move and the captain's not allowed to stop. The captain cannot stop until everybody's
Oh,
off.
this is the
Yeah.
airship one,
Right.
right? Yep, I remember this. I really
cap-
liked
Yeah.
this game.
And so
super
it's the captain
simple.
because normally in a push your luck you can decide to stop playing. The captain can't decide to stop. So when the captain realizes they're in trouble, they got to play it cool and they got to
Yeah.
convince everybody else to stay on board because otherwise they're all going to score points and the captain is not. So no, I got this. Totally, we're going to the next level, guys.
good.
Let's go.
We're good. I think it was 8+, but you could play it if you're a little bit younger too, because it's very much like, hey, do you want to stay on the ship or
Ooh,
not?
this is going to
Like,
be so much fun.
Super simple.
super simple, and it's quick. So if someone wants to come in for one game and then get out or whatever, so I think this is a great cabin group game and plays up to 6, which is awesome.
Yep.
Excellent choice.
So that is my recommendation for a cabin game.
Ooh. Well, that brings us almost to the end of the show. I do think we have one more thing. Does everybody have a...
Would you rather, or would you either? I'll accept that too.
Would you either?
Either?
Would you?
Either.
Okay. Would you...
It doesn't matter.
Do you guys want to look at more GUI
Kind
cube
of
art?
suck shoe.
Look at how it's
Suck
like...
shoe.
It's just font printed on
Absolutely,
Absolutely no
shizzats.
shizzats.
no shizats.
I think somebody said that to me in high school.
No
So you're at
shizzats?
no shizats?
Absolutely no shizzats.
Oh, okay.
Like this, that was
Some
good.
of it's fine.
I think I definitely used like this
like
and
that.
this.
That's fine. By the way, everyone go to YouTube if you want to see this. That's stupid. That
I
mask
used this
that you
one
just
for sure.
passed. But
The
these are
closer
buildings.
it
That's
gets,
fine.
the worse it is.
It's when they have some sort of people or monster that you're like,
All right.
do you
This
have
or
one,
that.
Ben?
The shiz
This or
ass.
that. Peter Parker or Miles Morales?
Which Peter Parker?
Like make love to, or
Yeah,
I
what
am
am I
him?
doing with him?
Peter Parker or Miles
Just-
Morales?
Am I dating now? Like, what am I doing?
That's
I'll take
this or that.
Miles. I don't
I'm
know.
gonna take Miles. Peter Parker kind of sucks.
Yeah, he's kind of like
iterations.
annoying. Let's be serious.
I feel like I love Spider-Man's my favorite superhero, without a doubt. Has been maybe in somewhat of competition with
Okay.
Superman when I was younger, but I love Spider-Man.
Superman's too much. He's a lot.
Big fan. And so to turn my back on Spider-Man, who in my mind is Peter
PP.
Parker, is
PP?
a big, and Mary Jane and Aunt May.
Okay,
and-
Mary
so
Jane is particularly lame as well.
yeah, she's kind of.
I mean,
annoying
I'm
usually.
certainly no aficionado, but
not going to disagree with any
Ben,
of this.
if you had to pick a Peter Parker,
ooh,
which
sure.
Peter Parker would you pick?
Yeah.
This is like a tongue twister.
If I had to pick a Peter Parker, which Peter Parker
from
would I
like the
pick?
movies, obviously. Which one is your favorite, or would you pick?
Oh, it's me, I'm Tom Holland.
If you picked a Peter Piper, which Peter Piper would you pick?
I'm like blanking on names. Andrew Garfield is too
Garfield.
cool. Andrew
Tobey
Garfield's
Maguire.
too cool for Spider-Man.
Garfield.
Tobey
But-
Maguire is 40, but in high
What did I
school.
say?
I think Andrew Garfield was too cool for Peter Parker, but he was one of the best Spider-Mans. He was really good at the quips.
He was.
He was a good
He was very like he knew he was cool though. Where he's like, "Hey, what's up, Mary Jane?" Like he knew.
Right, but he was a good Spider-Man.
You can't cast an absolutely gorgeous
Yeah.
20-year-old man,
And be like, "You're a
As
loser
a
in high
dork.
school." Yeah,
right? Like,
right. You're like, well, I
same
know
goes for what's the new guy, Tom Holland.
Tommy.
right?
But
The
at least
most
he has.
unbelievable part is that he's not an attractive teenager.
At least he
right?
kind of has that. Like, I can see someone
He
being
can
like,
be awkward.
he's awkward and he doesn't have like confidence. Where
Yes.
I could be like, yeah, okay, he's got that at
Yeah.
least. Andrew Garfield, though, you're like, you can't pretend
hate
you're a
this guy.
nerd. Like,
This guy's
yeah,
a dick.
Right, so I feel like in my mind, Tobey Maguire is Peter Parker.
But Tobey Maguire is like
45.
49.
But he wasn't like when he made the movies.
He
I
pretty
think
much
he was.
I don't know.
I think he might have been between
You guys are
45 and
you are
49.
highlighting.
I'm gonna say I'm
No.
gonna go with Tommy.
You are
okay?
perfectly highlighting the reason why I got to go with Miles Morales.
Yeah,
It's-
Even though
mean,
it's weird this for Spider-Man to be able to turn invisible and have electrical powers,
I don't see anything
I-
wrong with that.
I think that's
the
totally
least of your
cool.
concerns. Yeah.
because I like Miles Morales. I'm not
Is that the end of your
Spider-Man. I
sentence?
think I like Miles
Spider-Man.
Morales more than I
Oh.
like Peter Parker.
Well, and they've also
Yeah.
they also, assuming we're talking about the cartoons, right? These animated movies, they have reinvented Spider-Man, but it's also still Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like all of the core things are still there, but it's like
Well,
doesn't-
and the Spider-Verse really, when you put up Peter Parker next to Miles Morales, instead of having them separate, when you put them up next to each other, Peter Parker looks pretty lame.
Yeah, you're like, well,
When
sorry,
they're
buddy.
actually face to face, you're
I
like,
know.
Yeah.
man, Miles is
well,
kind of
that's Peter
cool.
B. Parker, right? Peter A. Parker is gone, I believe.
I don't
That's true.
like, but yeah, they're very like, well, I
Yeah.
don't know, but
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, what's up?
What was your thing? Just which Peter Parker?
No, it was Miles Morales or
okay.
Peter Parker.
Sorry,
Miles
I couldn't
Morales.
remember. Yeah, Miles.
I think we all agree, Miles
Miles.
Morales. I
It's
can't
so
believe I'm
cool
saying
for
that.
him to have like a legitimate origin story.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we finally have like a new character.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
the like. Why is there Miles Morales? all of a
It's
sudden?
Spider-Man, but it's a new character.
And it's
Yeah.
kind of cool that there's like, there's just one Miles Morales.
Yes. Right?
There's only one.
But anybody can be Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
They left both, they expertly
Right.
thread the
They're the
needle
same,
between.
but two different things. Yeah.
Right? Luke
Very cool.
Skywalker's great. Anybody can be a Jedi. Wait,
Yeah.
we forgot to do that with the movies. Sorry. Here's Palpatine.
Ray
Oh,
Skywalker.
gosh.
Right.
Oh, gosh.
Anyway, here's Palpatine. Anyway.
Palpatine.
What do you got for us, Sam?
Would you rather date someone with their ex's name tattooed on their? It says chest. I'm gonna say tattooed in a let's say neck,
Like least desirable.
like a neck tattoo.
Oh my
Right.
God, neck
Like,
tattoos.
you can
like-
see it.
Eyelids.
Or you date someone who their ex lives next door, and we're gonna pretend that like where you guys live, you can't move.
Oh gosh,
So
the tattoo.
And also they're like intrusive.
They're- yeah.
Right? Yeah, you
I
have
can
to-
forgive
you
the
would rather
tattoo.
it's like
You
I'm
have to
like
take the tattoo.
Oh,
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
like how you
I'm
were
not
like.
dealing. I'm not. I don't. Need
I don't want the
Wouldn't
X
that be
hanging
the
around.
worst though if it was like Henry?
You know what would be
care.
worse than that?
Them knocking
The
on
next
your
door neighbor
Yeah,
X.
him actually being there. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's. It's a bandana territory. I'll say I'm into that.
What's worse, an what's worse, an ex-boyfriend or an ex-girlfriend? Like
I think
Ken
it
and
just
I are
depends
sitting
on the
here
person.
sitting here thinking he's next door. You'd be sitting here thinking she's next door.
I think it just depends on the
I
person,
don't
though.
want conflict with another
It's
man
very
because it
easy
can
to
escalate.
imagine.
That's because
Yeah.
guys
Too
are fucking
quickly.
insane. So.
That's why, yeah, exactly. Like you just, it's
I feel
too
like I would be
hot.
annoyed, but I'm not gonna ever be like popping on over.
Never underestimate
You know.
the ability of someone to be an absolute idiot. Right? Just
Exactly.
so they're your
know.
neighbor.
Nah, dog.
One too many beers that day. Suddenly, whatever he's up to.
All of a sudden
Randy.
he's trimming the tree.
Yeah,
Like, it's-
I decided to knock down the fence between our houses. Figured it more airflow. Oh, thanks, Randy.
Yeah,
I can forgive a tattoo.
You can tattoo whatever you want. I'm not living next door to the guy. Yeah,
yeah, right.
Ken sounds like he's dealt with this the way
I
he's like,
have.
Oh, you did the broccoli
don't
face.
want to deal with this again. Like,
Wait, how's it go? I don't.
yeah, you had
Right.
like a full-on
Now I'm
frown.
smiling, so I can't do it.
Ben, how do you have such a frown? I can't frown at all.
I was
I'm just
positioned
straight.
right.
All right.
Yeah,
Ken, do you got one?
that was good.
Would you rather? Mine's okay. Two options.
Okay.
Okay.
Unlimited.
Typically, these have two
vacations.
options.
Well, would you? Yeah, either or. Unlimited vacations for a year, paid for. You're off work. Kids can come. Kids can go. Kids are with grandma and grandpa, that sort of thing. Or in your bank account, you get maybe $200,000 cash.
Like,
Okay.
and that's a one-time thing.
That's it, and it's done.
Windfall of cash, or
You get all the vacations
Crazy,
you could ever
but
ask
just
for.
1 year.
1 year.
are the vacations paid for?
Of course, yeah.
I'm gonna do vacation
Yeah?
for 1 year. I could, but
Oh, for 1 year.
for 1 year. But you're saying I get time off work, like I don't have to do.
It's free and clear. You come back to your job after a year.
But
Okay.
like, are we saying I could essentially vacation for a whole year?
Yep.
Yeah,
Vacation for a whole year,
Because
or
that's gonna be-
$200,000.
that's gonna be-
Okay, amp it up.
if I'm
200,
vacationing-
$300, $400,000.
That's,
This is really more of a...
what is the dollar amount at
what's
which you
the
would?
dollar amount?
I'm gonna get
where it
wild if I
breaks?
can vacation for free for a fucking year.
Yeah, so you can vacation for free for a year, or
gonna
and
be-
what is the dollar amount?
Yeah. Where,
When do
like,
you say no to the
Okay.
vacations?
$10
I'm gonna
million?
spend more than. Well, then I'll take
Right?
the 10 million.
Right? Okay,
Yeah.
so let's go down.
5 million.
I'll take the 5 million.
1 million.
No, I'm gonna vacation. I'm gonna spend a shit ton on that vacation.
A year of
taking the
vacations or
million.
$1 million.
For sure.
I'm gonna
the
vacation,
mill.
live it up. Because if I get the million, I'm gonna invest it badly. I'm gonna lose that money, and I get no vacations.
But you can spend it on vacations.
No, because I invested and it went to shit, Ken. Okay. This I for
That's
sure
fair. That's
have
fair.
vacations for a year. Not to mention, I have a year off of work. I can do whatever
True.
the fuck I want
That's
for a
fair.
year too.
No repercussions.
So
You come back, you're
I'm
right
taking
back
the
where
year.
you left off.
Unless I get 5 million, I'm taking the year.
What about 2?
I bet I could spend more. I bet I could do it if I really was trying. I bet I could. I wanted to get crazy.
I guess I'm thinking about it as not spending it all, right? $1 million. You're good
Yeah,
to go.
but just think of what you could do if you had no limits.
Sure.
Like, things could
What
get
if I had
crazy.
no payments on anything plus $500,000 cash?
I don't know. This
I don't know.
Ben looks just confused.
What's 1%
No, we're good.
return on $500,000? 50,000. So you take $500,000 of your 1 million. Are you all right, Ben? Are you look like
I
you're
am.
gonna pass
I'm
out?
okay. I'm okay.
Ben looks like I put this on the credit card.
Yeah. Like
That
did you
year-long
spend $1 million?
vacation?
And I was like, I did it. Sorry.
Wait, did you just spend $1 million?
No, I'm not saying a normal vacation. I think I would be spending that much. But if someone said unlimited
course.
for a year,
Yeah.
go crazy,
Yeah.
I'd go, how much does it cost
We're
to
just,
fly
we're
me
just
up?
trying to
Like,
find
I
that
would just get
equivalent
crazy.
number, right?
Yeah.
Because if I can pay off everything, and then I've got $1 million
Don't get me
in
wrong.
the
That'd
bank
be fucking
with
amazing.
1% return, what is that? $100,000? $100,000 a year I'm getting in passive income.
That's 10. That's 10%.
Yeah, but you wouldn't
Is it?
believe the fucking vacations I went
$10,000.
on.
That's a vacation every year. That's a nice vacation every year.
True.
Yeah, that's one vacation a year, Ken. I went
For the rest of
fucking
your life.
around the world. You
But
should
I
have
can do
seen
it
the
too.
shit I did.
That's fair. All right.
Right. Some of it you can't ever
I
see.
didn't think about the shit you did.
You have no idea.
That's
And we're
for
going to wrap
real.
up. We're going to leave it on a cliffhanger of the shit Emily did while she
did
was on
I do
vacation.
for $2
What did Emily do for
million?
52 weeks worth of vacation with any amount of money? She could do whatever she wanted.
Things get crazy. I'm gonna
What,
tell
where,
you that.
why, when, and who did she do?
Who
we
did
don't
I
never
do?
know.
How much did I pay?
In that case, we're going to wrap the show up. Thanks for tuning in for this month's Date Night Thrice episode. If you're listening to this on audio, go check out the YouTube video if you want to see a video of this. Otherwise, the next time you'll see us is the next D-list movie review. So we'll see you then for the first
Please.
Wednesday next month.
It's gonna be
Please
something Ken
don't make us
hates.
watch movies anymore. Can we?
I will. I'm going to.
I'm asking for an end to the D list. Can we put it
That's
out there
just
as a
called
poll?
normal movie. It's like
Yeah.
just go.
Right.
Let's call it the
It's
normal
okay.
movie list.
Nobody is
Ken
nobody is
sees a
required to be
movie.
here except for you listeners, and we really appreciate you tuning in. If you do want to check out the Date Night Dice Patreon, do we still have a Patreon?
I think.
Well, you can always throw us a few bucks here or there for hosting fees, D-list movie rentals, or whatever you want. And until next time, we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.